here to give us an update. You know, part of our family, too. You know, and you guys tweeted me. I got your tweets about Pearl, your emails, everything. She's here to give us an update on the trial. She's here for a few minutes to talk with us. Let's give it up for Pearl. Pearl's in the house, Pearl Jr. Hello.
Hey, Junior.
Guys.
Hey, Pearl.
Hi, everybody. Hi, DJ. Hi, Paul. Hi,
Hey,
Carlotta. Hi, Mara.
Hi.
Mara's in the chat.
I heard that. Well, I just wanted to say hi, too, because she was
okay.
on.
Yeah. All right, go ahead. You know, Pearl, I'm going to let you have it because, Pearl, I don't ever have to ask Pearl a question.
Well, please do. Don't let me just ramble on.
I got some questions for Pearl, so.
Good. I want questions.
Go ahead, Brandy.
Okay, Pearl, like I said before, I don't know if you heard in the first hour. At first, I was not a believer of the death hoax.
Right.
But after this trial, I'm like, okay, is this entertainment? Is this a real judge? Is this a real courtroom? What is
well,
going
it
on?
is a real courtroom. I'm inside the courtroom. I've been there every day. And one thing that they're not showing on television is there's an elephant in the room. There's a toy elephant in there. I mean, what the hell is that? You know, like the pink elephant that's in the room, you know. It's all obvious, but nobody's saying nothing, you know, that kind of symbolism. So that's all bizarre. But I'm there every day, and it is, I believe that it's a real court. But oftentimes I wonder, okay, the death hoax is a completely different story than this story.
Right.
How can one situation have two really viable stories that can be believed by a majority of people? And it's just so bizarre. But the only way that I thought about it, that this can happen, is if Michael switched out the bodies. And that's why the surveillance tape is missing from the 25th. They only have Michael going in at about between 12:30 and 1 a.m. in the morning, and then the rest of it the police erased, which is just incredible. So we don't know what happened that night, have no idea what happened that night. So that's the only way. And then when we got the Cardiff tribute, the October 8th tribute, and the Cardiff hoax was about a dead body that people thought was real but was really fake, and that's on the same date, October 8th, as the Michael Forever tribute. So it's all just so bizarre, but that's the only way that the two stories can coexist, is that the body that they believe is Michael Jackson is not Michael Jackson. And also we're back to the Joe Joseph thing. Back to that. You know, they opened it up with Michael Joseph Jackson, and I looked at Jermaine because thanks to DJ, on page 43 in Jermaine's book, You Are Not Alone, he says, I don't know how this rumor got started after Michael died that his middle name was Joseph. His name is Joe, as on his birth certificate. And LaToya's already tweeted Joe. Catherine has already answered that is Joe. Driver's license, passport, FBI, even Tom Sneddon in the 2005 trial, who wanted Michael to go to jail for child molestation and did everything he could. He was obsessed with the lie that Michael was a child molester. At the beginning, during all the preliminary hearings, during all the preliminary that led up to the trial, the paperwork said Michael Joseph Jackson, the people versus Michael Joseph Jackson. Then he found out that Michael's real name was Joe, and then by the time the trial started, you'll start seeing that the paperwork says the people versus Michael Joe Jackson. So Tom Sneddon didn't want a technicality to mess up his, what he thought was a sure conviction. So we're back at that strange Joe Joseph thing, and so it's just so bizarre.
So Pearl, I wanted to know, what was the reaction in the courtroom on the first day when they showed that?
Let me tell you what Jermaine's face did when they said Michael Joseph Jackson.
Oh, yeah, you got to tell me that.
Jermaine's face just kind of went, you know what I mean? And the thing is, LaToya's sitting there, Jermaine is sitting there, Catherine is sitting there, Joel is sitting there, Janet's sitting there, Randy is sitting there, and all of them are watching this name that isn't their brother, their son's name, and not saying anything. Now, for me as a mom, me as a daughter, me as a sibling, me as a friend, I'm telling you, just have them get my name right. You know, my full name if I die. You know what I mean? I have a stage name now, but that's staged. This is supposed to be real death.
Right.
And you stand up and say, my son's name is Michael Joe. You know, you outburst it. You do something about it. You don't, and, you know, Michael Joseph Jackson could be a name as a DBA, doing business as Michael Joseph Jackson. It could be a part of his estate. You can name your estate anything you want. It could be a part of his LLC. You know, you can call your business whatever you want. So we do know that Michael used Michael Joseph Jackson in business, because the Moonwalker book says from the estate of Michael Joseph Jackson. And, you know, one day under testimony when he was talking about some of his songs that he owns and royalties, he said Michael Joseph Jackson. So he could always DBA himself or LLC himself Michael Joseph Jackson, but this is supposed to be a human being, a person, a man, and for God's sakes, get his name right.
Right.
That's right.
Well, Joe and Joseph's not too far from it. That's like Bill William.
No, it's a real name though. It's not
it's
fake.
legal.
It's not. We're talking about a legal system, and I just explained that Tom Sned in the 2005 trial corrected his name. He corrected it because he did not want anything, technicality, to get in the way of the trial.
Right. And I know that from when you go to Social Security to change your name or anything, they want your whole full name. Nothing different because of legal. Even if you give them your middle name, you can't give them just an initial. They want the full name, what that is.
And the controversy over the Joe Joseph has been around since, you know, the beginning of since, you know, soon after the announcement that Michael Jackson died. So clear it up. Help us out. Help us death hoaxers out. I mean, tell us he's really dead, you know.
Okay, I have a question. Do you think they're going to put the kids on trial maybe?
No, I don't know, because Alberto Alvarez to me is a liar. Okay.
Yeah, he's a liar. That's right.
He's a liar. Okay, because before it was always Prince that saw something. All of a sudden, Paris is in the room. Okay, and I'm like, when did Paris get in the room? You know, well, Paris is bold, and Paris is something else. She get out in front.
Right.
She get up in the front, you know. And so I guess they want, if somebody testifies, you know, Catherine been talking about Paris and these acting lessons for over 2 years now, okay? So we're going to see what happens with, you know, with the kids testifying. But right now I don't think the case has teetered on anything criminal yet, because I remember during the preliminary hearings, Dr. Rochelle Cooper, who is on the stand right now, meaning that, of course, she's on recess. She's not there, but she's the witness that's going to come back. She already began her testimony, and she's going to come back and complete it. And she said during the preliminary hearing that a doctor can prescribe whatever he wants.
Wow.
You know, so
okay,
if a doctor can pardon me?
I'm confused about that one part because, you know, the propofol, he might maybe could prescribe whatever he wants, but to have it in a house setting, is that something wrong with that?
No, he can do whatever he wants. He's a doctor. It's not illegal. See, the charge is, because if it was illegal, he would be charged with other things. You see, right now they're charging him with causation. Did he pull the trigger and the bullet shoot out the gun that killed Michael Jackson? You see, that's all really this is about. And it's not about premeditation, that he had some kind of ulterior motive, because it's involuntary manslaughter. So we have to look at this within the legalities of what the law is. And propofol is not on the illicit drug list with the DEA. So it's not illegal. A doctor can prescribe whatever he wants, even if it's inappropriate. Now, during this case, Dr. Murray looks like a very, very incompetent man. He looks like Michael Jackson was some bum on the street, and, if I have to give it to you, then I will, you know.
Why did they revoke his license? You know, I can understand that. He still has his license to practice.
Right, he still has his license, and they did suspend it in California temporarily, but Michael was his only California patient. Now, they did bring up he had a practice in San Diego, and this is the first I had ever heard that he told people he had 4 clinics, Okay, and one of them was in San Diego. I had never heard that one before, but who knows? But we're talking about an illegal act, and so far, Dr. Murray may have been negligent. And to me, it's absolutely insane to be giving someone an anesthetic for 2.5 months and not have a piece of equipment that you can put in your pocket. You know, You know, it's not like it had to be privacy where you're bringing a big old EKG machine up the stairs. Everybody got to look at it. You know, these the known-in medical supplies, and he testified about all the different monitoring machines, and he gave prices on them. All those you could put in a paper bag and go upstairs. So as far as the right to privacy, you know, it should have had some type of alarm on it, some type of audio that was annoying and loud so that if Michael stopped breathing, and for them to know, Michael was very astute with medicine. Michael read a lot because he couldn't sleep. He read an awful lot. He knew the dangers, and to do this for 2.5 months and not have something that can resuscitate, and Dr. Murray didn't brush up on his CPR. I mean, it's ludicrous.
Oh, well, Pearl, I wanted to ask you about in that courtroom that when they showed that picture that day. How did you feel? How did everyone in the courtroom react? It was such. I know at home I was like, wow, what is this?
Well, I don't think the picture is real. It's ridiculous because it was disrespectful in a lot of different ways. It was disrespectful that it was used as a backdrop, okay? You know, it should have been focus. It should have been submitted into evidence as this is the death picture because it's the only one that we've ever seen. Now, I've heard that Catherine never went into the emergency room to see the dead Michael Jackson. Joe says he's never seen the body. And for them to show this crazy-looking picture, who set up the body? Who put the body? It's supposed to be flat. Who set it up and said, cheese? You know, and took this picture. The legs are really short. I mean, the whole picture is just stupid. Now, what the judge did say at the beginning, he said nothing in the opening statement should be used as evidence. Okay? He did say that at the very beginning, and that came in the opening statement. So he didn't explain it. He didn't, you know, nothing. He just put it up there. You know, and he put a date on it, the 24th, which is Michael the 24th, and then Michael the 25th. Now, there's a lot of discrepancies. I want to get into the bed. Was he on the bed or was he on the floor? Okay.
Well, I believe he's on both.
Nah, well, he was on both, but wait a minute. We're talking about who saw him when and when people walked into the room. Alberto Alvarez straight said that he, on the 911 call, we know he was on the bed, and the 911 caller said to put him on the floor. We know that. Alberto testified that he put him on the floor right then and there, and he held the phone between his ear and his shoulder. And he lifted the bottom portion of Michael, and they put him on the floor right then and there. Now, the first EMT officer testified that when he came into the room, which is after the 911 call. We know the paramedics didn't arrive while Alberto was on the phone. We know that. Okay, we know that. He testified that he came in and saw them putting him on the floor. How is that possible? Then, then the black EMT officer, Blunt, he said and he walked in the room at least 5 seconds after the first paramedic walked in. He said Michael was laying on the bed and even put the pointer to the pillow. His head was on the pillow. His feet were here. So this whole bed and floor thing is like, it's ridiculous. Now, Alberto Alvarez also said, and he also illustrated how he took the bag off of the IV stand. Remember? She said, how did you do it? He said there was a hook, and I uncurled it, and I took the bag off because Dr. Murray told me to clean up the scene. Okay? Now, Alberto could be an accessory. Okay? You cleaned up the scene with him. You know? You cleaned it up with him.
That's right. You cleaned it up. That's right.
You cleaned it up with him.
I got, DJ. If propofol is not illegal, DJ, so why is he trying to clean up the scene and have things?
Okay, because it's inappropriate. It's immoral. It's unethical. But is it illegal? See, those are different judgments. You see what I mean?
Right.
Just like they're different words. They have different meanings. Now, wait a minute. So Alberto says that he took it off, and then Donna Brazil, when Sinoff was testifying and said, I came in, I saw an IV stand with a bag. Oh, my God, her face went, oh, God. And I'm thinking, didn't you already know that he was going to say this? He's your witness. And then Blunt also says that he saw the bag on the IV stand as well. Okay? Now, Alberto Alvarez is talking about clean up all this medicine, and Dr. Murray, but one of them said they saw medicine on the nightstand. The other one said he saw 3 bottles of Lanacane on the floor. Okay, so they didn't do that good of a job. Now, if I'm a defense attorney, this is what I would say for Dr. Murray. I would say, well, you can't leave medicines hanging around. I had to clean them up because in the house. So it's my job as a doctor to clean up all the medicines and take them with me. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
To hide all the medicines. So they're right there, because we know that Sinoff, the paramedic, after took Michael down the stairs, took the body down the stairs, he went back up to retrieve all his equipment, and Dr. Murray was up there with him also retrieving medicines, because you can't leave that stuff around.
Right.
See, so now all of a sudden you have this. So Alberto Alvarez, to me, now listen to this. The day before Alberto Alvarez testified, I was walking to my car. And as I was walking to my car, here comes Alberto Alvarez and another guy that's always in the courtroom. And I wanted to paparazzi him, right? But he's a big dude. I didn't want my camera to get broke. I didn't want to get hit, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm a reporter. I'm not a paparazzi. You know, I don't have that kind of skin, you know?
Right.
And so I said to Alberto, I said, can I photograph you? And he was like, well, I don't care. You know, then this is the clincher. Then I saw him and 2 guys walk into the LAPD station.
Wow.
Now, why he went into the LAPD station, I don't know. But I saw him with my own eyes walk into the LAPD station, because it's right 2 blocks away from the courthouse. So that's bizarre. But Alberto Alvarez right now, his testimony is really, really, to me, shaky. And they're going to pull it apart, because it's not the same. And also on the 911 call, when he said he was moving the body from the bed to the floor, I didn't hear I didn't hear any wrestling.
No.
Right. Right.
There's no wrestling. There's no breath. There's no sign of him. It's kind of like he was acting it out, and he said, okay, he's on the floor.
He's on Pearl. So they said that Dr. Murray rode in the ambulance with Michael to the hospital.
Right, I believe that.
You think that he rode to the
hospital?
hospital?
Oh, yes, he most definitely did. Because his car, he didn't the hospital, and he took responsibility for the patient. So he had to ride into the hospital. He had to. So we're talking about causation here. And right now, all we have is pretty much immoral, unethical, and then Kai Chase. I mean, with her, I mean, I'm thinking differently about her, because Dr. Murray comes down the stairs, get help, get security. Get Prince, I don't understand. But those 3 things, and she gets a 12-year-old and then goes back to work?
Yes.
No.
I mean, she doesn't go outside or even go, what's going on, or either peek up the stairs to listen, or, you know what I mean? You know, you got the world's biggest superstar in the house. Now, Dr. Murray, back to Dr. Murray, he's coming in lounging clothes, to be a doctor for Michael, to supposedly give him a drip so he can fall asleep every night. And it's hard enough. I mean, what's more boring than to watch a person sleep?
Right.
Dr. Murray should have definitely had an alarm just in case he fell asleep.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because if he's supposed to be monitoring the patient. Now, Dr. Murray abandoned this body, Michael, twice. He abandoned him twice that we know of, when he went down, asked Kai for help at the top of the stairs when the ambulance came in, they said he was looking over the banister, or one of them, Fahim or somebody, said he was looking over the banister, and then when he went to the bathroom. So from the preliminary hearing, Sade Anding, who was one of his girlfriends, she's the one that was on the telephone when apparently Dr. Murray noticed that Michael was not breathing. This body was lifeless. And if that happened, she said he didn't, press end. She said it sounded like he put the phone in his pocket. He dropped the phone, and she heard mumbling, and she heard voices and coughing. Wait a minute. Who's coughing? And she said it wasn't Dr. Murray's voice, so it could have only been Dr. Murray in the room because it was just supposed to be Michael and Dr. Murray. So there's a lot of weird things going on with this. And also at 2:26 on Friday, the alarm went off in the courtroom.
Yes, saw that.
What is that all about?
Yeah,
I mean, I got up and I looked at the clock. And I was, it's 2:06. Why did the alarm go off at the same exact moment that Michael was dead?
On the news, they said a little boy and turned he did the alarm.
Well, it could be, but he did it at 2.
Right.
Somebody did something at 2:26, and we don't know who it is, but somebody did something at 2:26.
Right.
So, my question is, and I want to ask you, I'm sorry, Carlotta, I have
you're fine.
Is, okay, and I do not recall, maybe I could be wrong, I know you know more about the family, but where did this personal assistant come from?
Well, I've seen her before.
The black man.
No, she's been around. I've seen outside of Havenhurst. One time I saw her driving Catherine outside of Havenhurst. When they had that auction that Miko Brando attended, and so did Tippi Hedren attended, and I think they auctioned off the Thriller jacket or something. She was there then.
About that guy.
No, she's talking about the guy.
Michael Williams.
The black man.
Oh, Michael Williams. Oh, yes, Michael Williams is just a film student. He was a film student. He graduated from USC, I believe, and he was looking for a job, and he got a job. He also called him Michael Joseph Jackson. He also called him Michael Joseph Jackson as well.
We had never seen him, and I was curious.
No, I've seen him. No, he's been around.
Okay.
No, he's been around since 2007. Because I remember seeing a picture with him, with Michael, going, who is he? Who is he? Because Michael had changed. He's been around pretty much since he said. He's being pretty honest about that.
Okay, and Pearl, one of the last questions I want to ask you, and which I thought was so strange, and I don't know if you heard about the family and the goings on. LaToya, how is she tweeting all during the trial?
I don't know. I don't see her tweeting during the trial myself. I don't see that happening. I see LaToya listening. Now, I done seen Joe fall asleep. I've seen Tito fall asleep. Okay? I'm just letting you know. Okay?
Oh.
Now, Janet is, oh, my God, does she look gorgeous. Okay? And Rebe, Rebe is 61 years old, and she is just fancy. The oldest sister, she's beautiful. And LaToya is just Miss Louis Vuitton, glamorous. She got to have the best stuff, the best clothes, But LaToya, I have not seen her fall asleep. She has been very attentive. Now, one thing that happened on Friday, the only person that came back after the afternoon break, and this was the first time that I had seen Majestic in the courtroom. I guess Majestic was supposed to be LaToya's to watch. But Janet has been there all day. The rest of them come and go throughout the day.
Well, I noticed Randy raps with Janet because he can't get a ride, they said.
No, it's not. No, he hasn't. No, Randy had a Porsche last time I saw him in one of his cars. He has a Porsche, but that was 2-3 years ago. That was 3 years ago. So I don't know if he's gotten a new car or not.
Oh no,
he had a red Porsche. No, he don't catch the bus. He ain't that broke. Ain't none of them that broke. But Janet and Randy are very close. They hug up. Okay, and
right.
They whisper and talk to each other in court a lot. The thing is, one time Randy wasn't going to sit next to Janet, and Janet was like, "You better come over here and sit with me." What? And she's been very attentive too, and sweet. They will turn the fan, wave at the fans. They'll say hello. They even say hi to me. And I'm like the death hoaxer, right? And so I try not to do that. Now, inside the courtroom, there's the media, there's the cameras, there's the jury, and I wonder what the jury is thinking when all the family members aren't there all day. And then I think when Catherine's gone for 2 weeks, I mean, it's not going to look good that the mom, justice for your son, and something else is more important.
Right.
That's not going to play well. It's not going to play well.
$200 million check.
Well, also Dr. Murray's mother has been there.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Murray's mother has been there all day. So if Dr. Murray's mother is there when Catherine isn't, I think it's going to show what's more important. Mm-hmm. So I just think that, like during the 2005 child molestation trial, Catherine and Joe were there every day. Joe missed just a few days because he wasn't feeling well, but Catherine was there every single solitary day. And I believe was showing strength to the jurors that this is a mother's love.
Yeah. Right. So, Pearl, what in your, before I let you go, because I know you have something else to do, but what is your overall thought now about this whole thing, everything that you've seen this week from the fans outside, everything?
Right.
What are you thinking about this?
Well, I'm thinking that the strongest days were Tuesday, which was to drum up excitement with that stupid voice message or mail or recording of Michael going, go, he's the greatest entertainer.
Didn't sound like him.
I mean, that was just so staged. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Go. I hate to make fun of it, but it was just go. And I'm like, Michael, honey, that you had the supposed death picture, which I don't believe is real. It's just too insensitive. And then to write on kind of like a joke to me, I video later on, and I'm really going to have a heart-to-heart with the believers and really tell them, because I know the emotions are going crazy right now, and I just want to tell them how I feel and how I think that, how I'm going to proceed, and just kind of give them something to kind of, I don't know how they're going to take it. Either way, I don't know. But I plan on being there every day. I plan on, bringing videos to you, interest, and also I'm going to do something about this. I always promised that I would write Pseudocide 2. After we find out what happens with Dr. Murray. Now I got to leave you guys with this, and this scared me when I thought of it. In the Elvis death and trial, where the doctor was accused of overprescribing Elvis Presley, and it was a big, long trial, the first trial ended in a hung jury. Oh my God! And then the next jury, he was acquitted. So I'm in a hung jury, and we get no answer to what happens with Dr. Conrad Murray, because we want to close certain chapters. And if Michael Jackson really is dead, then we got to have to live with it. But I like to put the death hoax on trial and find out who the hell is leaving all these clues.
Right. That is very much, I agree with you, Pearl. Pearl, you know what? You are welcome here anytime. If you just want to get on the air by yourself, just let me know. I mean, with me and talk about the trial or whatever, I would love to have you. You're one of my favorite people to have on here. So you are
thank
always
you.
welcome.
Thank you. Well, I look forward to it. And anyone, if you know, the video, hopefully I'll be able to finish it this weekend. But it's going to be a heart-to-heart. And it will be on MichaelJacksonInsider.com and, of course, on my YouTube channel. And I just like to tell everybody, keep the faith, keep believing, and keep Michaeling. No matter what side you're on, just keep Michaeling. And I want to know how the ratings are for the trial. That's something that I'm going to see if I can find some information on. Okay?
Okay, all right. Thank you, Pearl.
Thank you, Carlotta. Thank you,
Bye-bye,
Bob.
Pearl.
Thank you, Mara. Thank you, DJ. Love you guys, and keep Michaeling.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Okay.